No more SERS, the latest updates on SERS and VERS could change the way we think about our HDB flats forever. What is your strategy for your HDB? Will you sell, upgrade, or stay put? Before we talk about the future, let's rewind a bit. Take for example, back in 2011, Block 321 to 323, right beside Clementi MRT with a large open space car parks, was selected for SERS. Residents were given a choice to move across the road to a brand new BTO flats. Those blocks were built in 1978 and at that point of time they were about 33 years old. One of my relatives actually lived in one of those blocks, and at that point of time, HDB offered him $240K for his 3-room flat in the block. He was given an option to buy a new BTO across the road at a subsidized rate. A new 3-room flat was offered at about $350K, and a new 4-room flat was offered at about $550K. He topped up $310K in cash and went for a 4-room flat on a higher floor. Back then, an open market value for his flat was about $180 to $200K. So, HDB's offer was about 35% above the market value. Fast forward to today, that flat is now worth about $1.1 to $1.2 million. No wonder people thought that buying an older flat and getting SERS could be the golden ticket, and at that point of time, most of us assumed that all HDB flats will be SERSed as long as it reaches a certain age. No one really addressed this sensitive issue of what will happen to our HDB flats when the lease runs out. This all changed in 2017 when Minister Lawrence Wong cautioned to the public not to assume all HDB flats will be SERSed, and that only about 4% of all the HDB flats are selected for SERS. He further mentioned that only flats with high redevelopment potential will be selected for SERS, where the land is currently not well utilized. HDB flats could also be selected for SERS if that location is needed for national development, such as building of new MRT stations or interchanges, which is what happened to Clementi, or for expansion of Woodland Checkpoint, which happened in 2022 where 9 blocks were selected for SERS. And then some concerns were raised in 2018. What happened if we outlive our HDB flats? And without SERS, we are going to be homeless. And then come Voluntary En Bloc Redevelopment Scheme of VERS in 2018. PM Lee introduced VERS to ease the worries of the majority of the HDB flat owners. Unlike SERS, when selected, the owners of these HDB flats can choose and vote whether go for VERS or not to go for VERS and live out the remainder of their HDB flats. The objective of VERS is to actually space out the redevelopment program of older estates to a time frame of about 20 to 30 years. As most of the HDB flats in the olden days were built in a similar time frame, the real concern for the government was to see a sudden tearing down of old buildings to develop new buildings and construction sites popping up all over the place. As there's less redevelopment potential for the government to take back these flats early, PM Lee preempted us that compensation for VERS would be less generous than in SERS. So what could VERS look like? Most recently, Minister Chi, our Minister for National Development, mentioned that the first VERS will likely to be launched in the first half of 2030 and that they are still developing a framework. The burning question is, will we get a replacement flat without having to ballot like in the BTO application process? Of course, having to top up a lump sum for this, which is likely going to be a larger amount than in SERS. And the answer given is ideally yes. But realistically, is to be confirmed. Speaking of SERS, the minister also confirmed that they currently have no plans to do any more SERS and rather focus their attention and resources on VERS. So, how do you feel about this? Let me know, how do you think VERS should be rolled out? Should we get a replacement flat? And how much are you willing to top up to get a similar flat in a similar location of a similar size? 200K? 300K? 400K? Let me know. It is exciting to see how VERS will play out. Some of the oldest flats in Singapore were completed as early as in 1962, making them about 68 years old in 2030. These flats are located in areas such as Tanjung Ru, Tanjung Baru and Dakota. It looks like the government has planned this way in advance with subtle hints in 2017, with a change in policy announcing the HDB for life in 2019, where HDB changes rules to encourage buyers to choose flats that can last them up to 95 years by allowing maximum CPF usage and loan usage if the youngest buyer's age plus the lease remaining add up to at least 95 years. So as a homeowner, what does it mean for you? It means your HDB will likely go to zero when the lease ends. Yes, there is VERS, but the valuation of that will be calculated at the prevailing market rate, and it will also not be as financially rewarding as SERS. Your HDB prices will go down slowly with lease decay. We can no longer see HDB as an inheritance asset to our children. I mean, HDB was never really meant to have an inheritance characteristics, as one party cannot own more than one HDB unit, but there was this financial inheritance tied to the HDB. But with lease decay, this will be minimized. Despite all these gloomy points, HDB will ensure you have a place to stay one way or another. And they have done so by offering HDBs with a shorter lease of 50 years, or they may also offer HDB rental flats at a subsidized rate. So this is what some of my past clients did and what you can also consider. You can choose to stay put, let the leaves run out and let nature take its course, or you can sell and buy another newer HDB flat. It can be a BTO or it can also be a resale HDB flats from the open market, but with a newer lease. Or you can choose to go private, either through private new launches or private resale market. And the last option you have is to apply for a brand new EC from the developer, where the EC will naturally transit from under HDB category to become fully privatized in 10 years' time. So this could be a smooth transition for a lot of Singaporeans. Lease decay is not an easy topic, but planning early puts you in control. So, what is your HDB strategy for the next 10 to 20 years? Comment your thoughts below. If you want a personalized strategy based on your flat's age and your goals, drop me a message and I'm here to help. That's all for now, and if you like the video, do like and share and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just drop them down in the comment section below. Till then, take care.